those tough years really help formalize in my mind that, when I get to a place where I can help people, I'm never going to forget what it's like to be downtrodden, discriminated against, be the little guy. And I'm going to get to a place where I can help people.
On today's episode of the Built to Suit podcast, Nathan Griffis sits down with Nicholas Fouraker, owner of Fouraker Commercial Real Estate, talk leadership, resilience, and community impact. From serving 2 terms as a mayor and retiring $9.5 million in city debt to growing Fouraker Commercial and launching new ventures, Nicholas shares his journey of redemption, entrepreneurship, life's purpose. Ready for an inspiring conversation, turning challenges into opportunities? Let's take a listen.
I was fortunate to meet you and your wife, Amy, which I think at some point we're going to talk about how it is to do work with your wife, because that's I'm sure that's a good time. But before we get into that, I want to call you Mr. Mayor. Like I know that was a thing, but I do want to know. So what was it that you're like, all right, I want to run for mayor? What's the mindset working in the back of your head says this feels like a good idea?
Truthfully, it was not my idea. I was on the planning and zoning board. I was the chairman, and we had some really good victories. I was actually working with Randy Holohan on that board, public developer. And so the community asked me if I'd consider running. And after consulting Amy about it, I said, it's time to level up and, give it a shot. And so two terms later, I got my fill. I enjoyed it. It was a blessing. And but now, as of April 1, I'm no longer in the mayor.
Yeah. What'd you see on the inside that you can tell the industry, hey, because oftentimes we find in our industry, oh, it's so difficult. What'd you see on the inside, from the inside out, that says makes you a better member of the CRE community because you know it?
Well, first of all, from the inside, I would say there's not enough of us from the industry doing it. So anybody that will do it, I commend them, because I think one of the things that makes our real estate community and all those involved in it, architects, developers, site people, the tenants, right, buyers, sellers, everybody like that, is usually people in real estate are really connected to their communities. And whether they're really into the art scenes, whether they're into the Boys and Girls Club, I feel like out of all industries, you see real estate people are more involved in their communities.
Yeah.
So, but still, I would say not enough business people, not enough real estate people in government. We desperately need that. And then, I wrote policy. We redid the comp plan. So I'd say from being on the inside and being able to actually change policies that make communities work better. I mean, we had all kinds of silly stuff when I inherited the office. It's funny what I'd be known for versus what I actually did. So, I retired. I helped negotiate a new deal. I retired $9.5 million of bond debt, which paved the way for
repeat that number again.
$9.5 million of bond debt was retired. So the city has no debt on their books anymore.
So you made Bay Hill. No, sorry.
Belle Isle.
Belle Isle.
Yep.
You made Belle Isle debt-free.
Debt-free. Right. Yeah, so, and then not only did we go debt-free, that paved the way for a $60 million bond to be raised for Cornerstone Charter Academy, which I was on the board of, which is now doing a major expansion, and the enrollment will almost double. So, through being a mayor, I've been able to help kids and help the education system, and now we're going to, better kids makes better adults makes better parents, and you kind of create a whole cycle of better people, right? So that was really rewarding and not something I expected to do, and retiring the debt cost the city no money. This is new. This is green, a new green source. So, and then beyond that, we get a $450,000. It's actually gone to $480 right now, a $480,000 payment a year. So we went cash flow positive. So we retired the debt and did a cash flow positive deal, so that the school we separated the two, and actually monetize the value of the property that the city owned.
That's something to be immensely proud of. You changed some generational stuff, sounds like. I mean, that's significant. You changed the direction, so kudos for that. So I guess your point is valid. Hey, professionals, lean in. Lean in. And our whole purpose with sitting down with people like yourself is to shine a highlight of how amazing some of the people in our industry are. And it sometimes goes unnoticed. And so way to lean in on that. But your family paid a price, right? I mean, in the sense that so you're maybe we'll come. Maybe if we have time, we'll come back, because we've known firms. You were with Bishop Beal previously.
Yep, great firm.
So
love Mike Beal.
Yeah, and so we've crossed paths, and so we've had this relationship. It's been unknown. And maybe we'll come back to that. And what made you get crazy and say, "Oh, I'm going to just go out on my own on this," and maybe you can give some advice to that. But I want to touch on the family commitment.
Sure.
What was the conversations you're having with Amy, and how are you laying out? Because you've never been a mayor,
right?
And ran your own business at the same time. So what conversations do you have at home when you're making that commitment?
Well, I mean, Amy knows I love our community. I started doing, I was on the HOA board. We did some stuff there. I actually got a nasty gram letter, and the HOA was wrong. And I read the docs and said, hey, read your docs. You can't send me this. And so they received it, and I was so polite about it. They're like, wow, the guy's really nice. I know he does real estate. We need somebody that, when they could. We like that he could stand up for himself and that he pointed out we were wrong. We need a guy like that on our board. So I got on the HOA board, and then that got me into trouble because the commissioner lived in our HOA. So he's like, you need to go do P&Z and so on. So Amy knew I loved being part of the community, helping contribute and donate my gifts and talents. And, she's been with me through beginning of my career, and really saw how everything started for me. So, and we talked about this a little bit on John's podcast, and we're probably not going to have enough time to really let our hair down about this. But I mean, when I was 20 years old, I committed a felony, and so I lost my civil rights. I gave my civil rights away. I was a wayward teen, and finally it caught up with me. I got expelled from UCF, and so all these years later, I get back into UCF. I get a finance degree. The state discriminated against me for my felony, and I had to appeal. I got my real estate license. They denied me originally. I got my real estate license, and so those tough years really helped formalize in my mind that when I get to a place where I can help people, I'm never going to forget what it's like to be downtrodden, discriminated against. Be the little guy, and I'm gonna get to a place where I can help people. And so little by little, if I didn't have money, I had time, I had effort, I had ideas. And so fortunately for us and our family, now there's a time where we have money, influence, and we're able to mobilize, larger scale giving. And so when the mayor thing became an idea, I had been publicly forgiven by Governor Scott and the Clemency Board. I received a full pardon, including the right to bear arms. And 10 months later, the city is asking me to run. And so it was a call. It was a clear as day calling. Amy saw it that way. I saw it that way. We didn't know how it was going to change our lives, but we knew we had to do it.
Knew you had to do it.
Yeah.
You had a commitment.
Probably the last thing you thought you were going to hear today.
No. I knew I'm sitting across amazing people. Because honestly, every conversation, and I've had John Crossman will be here a little bit later, and I love the fact that we're in a spot. I'm glad that we're in a spot as an industry where we can have that level of vulnerability and transparency, because I think it's good for everybody. So that's the burden that you carry. Got it. But this is how bad thing turns good thing turns in what some people would view as a superpower. I used to say when I was fostering kids, that was my superpower. Like
that is absolutely a superpower.
So but that doesn't come without some sort of pain, or it doesn't come, but it's a fuel, and all of the interesting people. I've come to this. This is my crazy psychosis, right? I believe that the people that I really like hanging out with are the people that you can have a conversation, and when they tell you something, you're like, "That's crazy." Like, why would they do that? That's crazy. Because they have something inside of them that they're just wired different.
Sure.
And so you're using that fuel. Obviously, you're aligned with your wife, which is huge because you don't take that stuff on. So let's pivot back to now you work with Amy.
Yep.
So who's the boss? And I know like
there's only one right answer to that.
There's only one right.
Amy technically is the boss. She is the broker of record for Fouraker Commercial. So day to day I run operations, and then Amy,
I go home.
Then I go home, and she's the boss there. But she's busy running Fouraker Funding, which is our mortgage company.
Yep.
And then Fouraker Realty, the parent company of Fouraker Commercial, does residential real estate brokerage services. So Amy really focuses on those. And then I run Fouraker Commercial, Fouraker Property Services. And then we started a new venture called Azalea Real Estate Ventures.
Okay.
Where we're buying assets now, and we really like value add. So this is a good one to drop at the show, but we bought 906 North Orange, which has a Benjamin Moore that was formerly Watkins Paints for almost 60 years. And before that, it was Braun Cadillac. So we bought a Cadillac dealership.
Did you have that on your bingo card?
Yeah, I must have.
Oh, man, I'm going to own a Cadillac dealership.
Yeah.
Drop that.
Sometimes it's better to have more brawn than brains. So in this case, I bought the brawn, right? So come on, Dad. You were saying dad jokes, dude. You were saying dad jokes. So there you go. So we're going to renovate that building. It's got, this is an architect's wet dream. It's got a mansard roof on the outside covering up 1920s brick.
Listen, do you have my card? I got people, yes, you're absolutely right. They drool over those redevelopment opportunities, especially the ones with stories.
And this has stories.
Yeah,
tons of stories.
It may even have things buried in it. No.
Well, we had our asbestos report, and I'm happy we're good.
We're happy to report.
We don't have that buried, but we have other stuff.
Yes,
we're going to be finding all kinds of goodies, I'm sure.
Okay, so obviously driven, obviously growing.
Yep.
Where does Fouraker go from here?
I definitely think that we're going to mobilize our talents, and we're going to be seen in different jurisdictions. We already cover the state. My first year in the company, we did a large office deal in Irvine, California, with Bonnier Corp, which is based in Winter Park. So we did their motorcycle division there. We've done deals in Charlotte, Rhode Island, Tyson's Corner up near D.C. But I think we're going to take more of a formal approach to. We really want to open an office in Greenville and in North Carolina. And so love spending time in Western North Carolina and just see a lot of opportunity up there, and probably Georgia. I'm originally from Jacksonville, so I'm really fond of North Florida and Georgia. So I definitely see us expanding by people, by geographic area, and continue to push where we can add services that really help our people be their best. We're a people-driven business.
So taking the show on the road, I think that's great. Whenever you have the ability to scale, growth is critical. You have to keep moving forward. Here's what I'll say. Closing thoughts. Appreciate the heck out of your transparency. I also appreciate the fact that you had a chip on your shoulder, and you figured out how to leverage that for not only your personal good,
sure,
but you found it to fuel influencing your community. You've changed generational stuff, for your community, and so respect for that. And yes, I didn't have that. I didn't have this conversation in my bingo card today, but that's what I love about our community.
That's right.
Love the CRE community.
Same.
Because it won't be the same. I'm going to sit down with Alex Evans later. We're going to talk about his nonprofit. Incredible.
That's what I'm talking about.
Incredible communities. Incredible
and we're
communities.
not done with our community. We're not done, even close to done.
No, because you don't shut that off.
No,
it's part of the motor. It's part of the motor.
It's who we are.
Yeah.
That's who we are.
Man,
well, Nathan, great to hang out with you, buddy.
I appreciate it.
I love that
very
you're
much.
doing this, man. You're so sharp.
Oh, no, I appreciate you spending time. I know you're a busy guy. I absolutely appreciate the fact you let me
I'm
reschedule.
just mentioning
and we
myself.
did it
I'm on the
late.
Kuhachi radar, and you guys are legends. So
No.
appreciate you giving me the
No,
time.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks, man.
Talk to you later.
See ya.